Six-Figure Mamas. I'm so excited to be here with the beautiful and lovely Kelly. How is it? Haug?
Ha.
Haug.
Ha.
Okay.
No problem.
Like ha.
Ha. Ha. Ha.
Okay. And I'm so excited to be bringing her in today because as a mom and, businesswoman, we have so many things that we juggle around. And, how do we keep our sanity? How do we keep our energy up? Because I don't know about you, Kelly, and I know some of you other moms can probably attest to this. Like after running our businesses for the day, we come, I know whenever I leave my office, go home, I am home, but, leave my office, sometimes I feel drained and like I don't have the capacity to interact with my own son. And so, we're going to be talking about that today, like how to, how do we protect that energy? How do we keep our sanity within us so we can be the best, not only best mom, but also best businesswoman that we are, because of the fact that we need that because, we're managing little tiny humans we created. And or in your case, I know you have a teenage daughter, so, a teenager, and I have a little one, and we have so much on our plates. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So before I officially introduce Kelly, my name is Monica Miller. I am the CEO and founder of the Six-Figure Mama Mastermind and Facebook community. So if you are looking for a community on how to build your business to six figures by using, by being around other like-minded women who are on that same path and their moms, then join the Facebook community. It's free. I do interviews like these, a couple of times a month. I have some awesome upcoming, interviews coming up this summer that I'm super stoked about. And I'm just grateful. And so I also help women get to six figures using their message in marketing through the mastermind that I have called the Six-Figure Mama Mastermind. All right. So let's turn it to Kelly because this is, I'm excited about this topic. So before we get into, officially meet her, I would like to, give her, tell you more about her. So Kelly Ha is Kelly Ha is a certified holistic wealth and wellness coach, stress resilience, resilience and mental wellness trainer, nutritional psychology practitioner. Am I saying that right? Okay. Certified,
Yes, correct.
Awesome. Certified life coach, speaker, author, and mental health advocate. She trained at the Health Coach Institute and has served countless clients by working together to relieve their chronic stress, anxiety, depression, and digestive issues. Her personal journey began over 12 years ago with her daughter's health challenges, including autism and seizures. She later experienced her own health challenges that were rooted in chronic stress. Kelly decided to master the art and science of the gut-brain connection, which leads to transformational and lasting healing. Her clients now experience peace, energy, joy, and enthusiasm for life again. Kelly's mission is to inspire others to gain their best health and wellness without all the struggle. She shares her health expertise, including goal-oriented coaching, nutritional knowledge about how to heal the gut and optimize the gut-brain connection, and guidance on how to truly nourish the body, mind, and spirit for healing. She empowers her clients to use tools such as meditation, breathing techniques, body scans, and grounding. She is an avid hiker. She loves horses, nature, and spending time with her family, and she regularly participates in 5K races. Kelly lives in Westminster, Colorado. So welcome. Is there anything that we left out?
It could have been way shorter.
Oh, that was a mouthful.
That's great. Yeah,
it was great.
Oh man. Well, that's the bio on the back of my book. So it kind of gives the whole synopsis of what all I do.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, Kelly, let's get into today's topic. So, as a mom yourself, and I'm sure you helped other mompreneurs in their own lives and businesses. Like, what do you find is most common that us women struggle with in the regards of energy?
In regards to energy,
Yeah.
I'd say a lot of that is taking in all that stress, and I call it wearing it or just internalizing it and not getting it out ever, not getting rid of it, not getting it out. A lot of people always think, and it ends up being chronic. When I get this done, when I get that done, when this thing happens, when that thing happens, then I'll take some time for me. And that's how people, get that chronic stress load, and therefore your energy is way down when you do that. And so I like to help people like take little snips throughout the day so they don't get that drain, so they can have some energy at the end of the workday, as you say, like to leave your office and then go home and be with your kids, be with your family, or whatever else you're doing that evening, and actually have an ounce of energy left. So I think that's really helpful, just to take some little tiny things throughout the day. That way, at the end of that work day, you aren't just like holding in all that stress.
Yeah, and I want to ask about the gut, what we call it, the gut brain connection. Yeah, gut brain connection with stress. Like when us women are stressed,
Mhm.
I mean, I know, like, I've been under some stress lately, and I can feel my body taking its toll. But I wanted to hear from you, like, what's that gut brain connection, and what is it doing to our bodies when we are under that chronic stress?
Right. So the gut brain connection is really, the gut talks to the brain talks to the gut. It's that bi-directional superhighway. And if you cut that off or have road construction going on in between there, they aren't going to communicate properly. And if you have that chronic stress load, which is chronic cortisol and things going through your body, it actually harms your gut microbiome, which then you have more bad gut bacteria sending signals to your brain instead of good. And when that happens, then you can't deal with your whole stress load as well.
So what do you think causes all this stress? Like, you think as an entrepreneur, we'll have like less stress because we're working from home. Most of us are working from home. We're working online. You think that we have these like perfect lives, right? So what do you think? What do you think causes the most stress from what you've seen in entrepreneur women?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you've seen this meme before, but I've seen it several times. And it says, entrepreneur, the only person who would work 80 hours to get out of a 40-hour-a-week job working for someone else. And so I think as the entrepreneur part, sure, we can make our schedule, and our schedule can be flexible and we can pick and choose. But I think a whole lot of people, not only is it during that work hours, but then in the evening or maybe during the night even, they're thinking about something, because they wake up and then it's on their brain and that kind of thing. And I think as an entrepreneur, because a lot of times, you're wearing all the hats, or at least most of them. And so you have many different things that you have to get done. And I think that's a big part of it with the entrepreneur moms, especially. And so, to come up with some things where you're like, okay, at X time, I'm truly putting this away. And if it comes back to my mind, I'm just going to say, I hear you, I see you, I'm going to put you out over here and I can deal with you tomorrow, So really setting up kind of those boundaries for yourself. And sure, there's times when you're working on a particular project that you really want to get done and you're focused, and you might be putting in more hours at that time, or late hours or things like that. But as a general rule, then you need to figure out how you can kind of put that back down to not taking in everything.
Mm-hmm. And what from your perspective, from what you've seen, how does stress not all, like, we know stress affects energy, like we know that, but what other ways does stress have you seen I guess wreak havoc in our bodies and then also in our lives? Like, what have you seen? And what do you see that is the most typical?
The most typical, I would say, is stress that turns into digestive issues. So somebody might have acid reflux, they might have bloating, all because, your gut isn't working how it should. And also stress then turning into an anxiety, like a true anxiety problem, or even a depression problem. Because when you have that constant chronic stress going on, your body can't recover, your brain can't recover, and that really creates a big problem.
So one of the things that is coming to my mind is like, I'm sure a lot of women are going to be watching this and be like, oh, I don't have chronic stress. Well, how do you define chronic stress? So that way these women could be like, oh, well, maybe I do.
Right. So the thing is this, in your body and how your body all works together, whether it is low level stress, it's say on a 1 to 10, it's a 1 that you have often, or a 3 that you have often, or you might be a person that just not nearly as often, but you have an 8 that spikes up quite a bit. Okay, so any amount of stress in the body doesn't know the difference whether you're at a 1 or a 2 or a 10. If you're in that fight or flight state, and the low level will put your body into fight or flight, even though you don't feel that high on the stress level, your body will actually go into fight or flight. And so in fight or flight, your body doesn't know the difference, and it puts out all the same chemicals, all the same things to help you fight, flight, or freeze. And so you may think, oh, stress isn't really an issue for me because it's just super low. But if it's super low, like every day, you need to do something about it so you don't keep harming your body. Because a lot of people it could be chronic for many years and they don't really realize it. And then suddenly they have an issue in their body from all that stress.
Mm-hmm. How do these issues show up? I know you talked about it, but is there any like daily, like almost like maybe some small signs or signs that we think are small, but they really are not small? Because you know how us women are, we're just like,
oh yeah, well. we try to, we put it off as much as we can, right? Because we want to power through and get these things all done. And we think, oh, we can do it and it's going to be fine. Some of the small signs, kind of the gut issues like I talked about. Also, it might be an interruption in your sleep patterns, like if you've maybe been somebody who's been able to sleep well and then suddenly you are having a lot of trouble sleeping. That could be, just a sign of, hey, maybe I better pay some more attention, as well as that kind of that chronic fatigue feeling, like you're always feeling tired and run down and worn down. That's another one. Along that line would be maybe having some brain fog. You can't think very clearly. You can't concentrate and focus like you used to. That can also be kind of a sign of that. So there's quite a few different ones, and people present a little bit different, but yeah, it's that, it's really kind of almost like a bank account, but in a bad way. As it builds up. It's not a good thing, it's a bad thing.
No, I totally hear you. Okay. No, that's awesome, because I know, like I said, lately I've been going under some stress and I really haven't been sleeping well. So I love that you brought that up, because I'm like, yeah, I've been waking up about like between 3 and 4 for like an hour almost every night. So for those of you who have been having the same thing, what do you tell your clients, like, when they come to you and you're hearing this, like, I was sleeping good, now I'm not, like it's been like a month and I'm like every night waking up, what are some of the things that you tell them to do in order to protect their bodies, their energy, and of course their sanity?
Right. So if it's somebody with that sleep thing, like you're talking, and then you wake up and it's probably your mind starts going, I'm guessing. Yeah. So one really good thing for that is to actually just have a pen and paper by your bed and write down everything you're thinking, just get it all out. And that might take you 5 or 10 minutes. And then you can see that and you go, you know what? I'm not going to forget any of this. I'm not going to miss any of this. And tomorrow morning, I can reread these notes. And that way you can tell your brain, hey, it's okay to calm down now and relax because I have this all taken care of and I'm going to think about it again tomorrow. So that's really helpful. And especially if you write it out, it's very helpful, not just taking mental notes while you're thinking about it. That is really helpful.
And so, oh, go ahead, Kelly.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was going to say I know when I've done that in the past, like not in that instance, but in a different instance, when my coach, she was like, write down all your negative thoughts. And I felt like it just helped clear my head.
It really does. Yeah.
And then I got to see it, and I got to see like some of these negative thoughts were really just silly. I'm like, well, that's so not true, but it sounds so true in your head. But I felt like when I wrote it down, I'm like, oh, that's not true. Like, why am I thinking that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good one. That's one thing I do with people is definitely have them take mental note throughout the day. And it could be you set a timer twice a day or 4 times a day, depends on the person and what they have going on. But just say you set your timer for 10 in the morning, and then at 10 in the morning that goes off, and you're going to think about, what am I thinking about? Is it helpful to me? Is it negative to me? Is it true? You know, is it just mental chatter going on in my brain? And I'm really like, because our unconscious mind runs a lot of the show. And so if you don't try to take note of it, you may not realize, oh, for 30 minutes, you were on this giant string of negative thinking. So that's a really good one to do throughout the day, is set that timer and then check in with your mindset.
Yeah. Anything else that we can do to protect our energy, sanity, and, and also saving ourselves from burnout?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay. So yeah, they kind of all go under the same umbrella, but yeah, when you say saving yourself from burnout, you need those little breaks throughout the day. So like one really good one to do is 90 seconds of vigorous movement. So put on a song you love for 90 seconds and just dance like crazy. Hopefully nobody's around, and if they are, who cares? But dance like nobody's watching and just get all that energy out. And that actually helps to reset your hormones. It helps reset your nervous system. So it gives you some energy, it gives you a little outlet, and it boosts like your clarity. So if you do that a couple times a day, because a lot of times people are sitting way too long in front of their computer. If you get up and do that a couple times a day, you're really going to help reset all of that.
Yeah. One of the things as you were talking that came up to me was, I really think that as women, we don't celebrate ourselves enough. And I feel like because we see our success, we don't see it as like true success. We almost see it as like, well, I need to do better, or I need to get 3 more just like that, because
right.
So how can we, this is something that I'm learning this right now, is like, it's just slowing down and really not only celebrating, but really taking good care of myself right now. So what is it that, you would suggest to women who are like, go, 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 and you're telling them like, you need to slow down so you can, not only do the self-care, but also celebrate the things you already accomplished?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're saying, because our to-do list is endless, right? Even if, so here's these 20 things or whatever, and you just did the 8th thing and you did it great. And it's so, you should be celebrating like crazy, but instead you're on to the next thing already, right? And then, if you don't reinforce those accomplishments, then, your body and mind are kind of like, why are we doing more? So yeah, it's very important to do that. So I think that's a really good one. Sorry about that noise.
You're fine. We're all at home, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to talk about what's your recommendations for self-care to restore ourselves back to where we're not in fight or flight, because I remember somebody telling me, and you may know this better than I do. Of course you would. Like I want to say it takes like a man, was it a couple of hours to get out of fight or flight, but it takes like a woman like 24 hours or something.
Yeah, it takes a lot longer, definitely. And the problem, of course, is in the modern world, the modern society, everything that's going on, even though you're trying to get out and come back down from one fight or flight, there's always like something else coming in, and so, and if you actually were in fight or flight and you had to run like crazy from a bear, that's one thing. And then you're actually going to relax after that's over. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, and you're actually going to calm down and maybe even take a nap. But in our modern world, you go into fight or flight and you just have like another thing you have to do or get done, or something else is happening, another fire to go put out. So it does take a lot longer. And as you're coming back down and resetting and everything's getting back to normal, more is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I really like to help people with those little things they can do. Like the 90 seconds of movement is one. I have a whole bunch of different things, because a lot of people won't take the time for true like self-care. And so if you can at least get in a few small things throughout the day, you're resetting, you're kind of like resetting and coming back to ground zero every little while, instead of having it all build up.
What is your favorite ways to create that reset that you're talking about? Like, what are some of your like top 3 favorite ways to do that throughout the day? Like, I would love to just get some practical tips that we can grab a hold of and do it today. I mean, we know dancing for like 90 seconds is one
definitely
way.
That's one, and that's going to reset that nervous system, fight or flight, as well as get your focus and concentration going again. For anybody sitting in front of a computer a lot throughout the day, getting up at least every 30 minutes for 5 minutes and moving around is very important for your body and your brain. So definitely people need to do that. And then another, like a quick reset I love is, it's kind of funny because it's my last name, but it's the ha breath, ha. And so you're going to take a big diaphragm breath in and then let it out, ha. And then the more loud and out you can be, if you're home alone or somewhere that's okay, it really helps a lot. So oh, you can just feel that tension coming out. And if there's something particular that you have going on in your brain that's bothering you at the time, that like won't shut up, you can think about whatever that is, and you're going to put that like out in front of you, and you're going to do your breath, and then you're just going to do it right at that and just let it like break it up and move it out. I mean, just 1 or 2 of those and you just feel different, like your whole chest and everything relaxes. So that's one I really, really like. Another one I like that people can do, and this one you can do anytime, anywhere, because no one knows you're doing this one. So you're going to take a diaphragmatic breath in. And when I say diaphragmatic breath, anybody who's played a musical instrument in the past, or maybe a singer, already knows what that is. For anyone who doesn't know, it's kind of like a baby breathe. So as adults, we don't really do this, especially in our daily life. And if we're a stressed out person, we're usually like breathing very shallowly from our chest. So when you breathe in, you want to actually relax your belly out and then let the breath come up. And then as you let it out, you're going to come back down. And then as you extinguish all of that air, your belly's going to go in towards your back. So you're going to do a big deep breath in, your belly relaxes out, it comes up and then down. Belly goes back in towards your back. So we're going to take a diaphragmatic breath in. We're going to hold for 4, or we're going to breathe in for 4. Sorry. Breathe in for 4. We're going to hold for 4, and then we're going to breathe out for 6. So it's important to exhale longer, and that actually calms the whole body, calms the nervous system down. So let's breathe in together for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do it one more time on your own. This is one I love. It's one of my very favorite. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Nobody knows you're even doing it. Sometimes I do it while I'm driving. Sometimes I'll do it at a grocery store. Nobody knows you're doing it. And you do it just a few times, you can actually just feel the difference in your body. I mean, it really just kind of melts away that stress really quickly. This is also a great one to do before you eat a meal. Just two or three of those, just to calm your body down before you start eating. Eating on the go, eating fast, it's a real issue for your whole digestive system. So I love the 4-4-6. I think it's a really good go-to. And even when you're sitting there working at your computer, you can just, think, often people will notice, I'm just breathing like right up here. Like you're barely taking in any air at all. And it's like, oh, okay, I need to breathe. And I'll have my clients, even for the ones who they don't ever think about it, and same thing, set a timer or have a little note in with all your other stuff. Remember to do your breathing. Very important.
Yeah, I love it. These are really awesome tips. And this is something my coach has been telling me to do more of. And so I've been doing a lot more of that deep breathing and more like that lion's breath. Moving my side, my side to side, my rib cage, and just to get some movement. And even if I'm just sitting right here, right. But I just love what you're saying. So, quickly, can you tell us more? I know you are an author. Can you talk about more about your book and how your book can help mompreneurs really get a hold of their health as well as their well-being to be the best mom and entrepreneur that they can be? Because I'm just going to say this right now, because as women, we like to put our health last until it crashes and burns, and then we realize we need help. And moms, I don't want you to go through that, because I cannot imagine. Thankfully, I never got to that point, but I cannot imagine what it would be like if I did. And and the one thing I like to look at it as, if I'm not taking care of me, if I go down, that means my child will be going down with me, and my husband. It's a domino effect. Right. And and it works the same way. With my husband, I keep telling him, if you go down, I go down, and Anthony goes down. It's just it's a domino effect. I need you to be at your optimal health. So women, if you want to be the best, not only entrepreneur and server and giver and, service provider or coach, whatever you are, then you need to be taking care of your body. And stress, taking from somebody who is, dealing with that right now and in the midst of letting it go and working on all the things that Kelly has been talking about, it's so important that you keep your health up for your children and for your clients, because if your health goes down, there goes your business, and there goes, even potential relationships with your children. So anyways, that was a long-winded thing I just wanted to say.
No, it's so important, and it's so true. I did crash and burn about 7 years ago, and it wasn't a good thing. And that's the thing. My very first thought, when it was to very rock bottom and things looked very scary for me, my very first thought was, who's going to take care of my daughter and do all the things I do? Of course I do have my husband, but there's certain things, and you think of that and you're like, oh my gosh, if I'm not here to do these things and I'm not here to be here for her, that's scary. So yeah, you don't want it to get to that point. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's absolutely a worst nightmare. Not being there for her children. So talk about your book and how that can help us not get to that point.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my book is called Mind Your Gut, and it's all about that gut-brain connection. But I also have a lot of some of these tools that I just talked about. I have a lot of stress tips in this book and things to do for that. I call them stress busters in the book, and I do actually have a stress buster group. But it's because my health got so bad because of taking in all the stress and not getting rid of the stress. I had an anxiety disorder for many years that had me on a lot of medication. And I always knew there had to be something different, something better, something more that I could be doing. But I couldn't find those answers and figure out what that was. But I had a gut feeling that there was something better that I could be doing. And even though I went back to doctor after doctor asking, hey, isn't there something, maybe I'm missing some nutrition or there's something else off in my body. I always got the answer, no, just take your medication, high loads of medication, have talk therapy. That was it. Like there was nothing else. And through my daughter, she's 14 and she has autism and seizures. And it was around 18 months when she was about 18 months old that I first really learned the connection of the gut for the brain to be working properly. You needed to have good gut health. And we happened to meet in a regularly trained MD, turned more like functional medicine. And he had a teenage son with autism. And so he personally did a whole lot of research. And he knew that all the kids with autism pretty much had some kind of gut issue going on. And so that was like the first I'd heard of leaky gut, gut dysbiosis. And I was like, what are these things? And I have to know more, And so as I learned more and more things that would help my daughter, it was like, oh, these are also things that would help me. So that's kind of how that all started. And so the book is kind of an accumulation of, starting with my anxiety issues really 30 years ago. And then my daughter with her autism and seizures and how really all of that is connected and related. And I have practical readable science in there. So nothing too hard to read, but I want people to know more about the science and how it actually works. But I didn't want a book where people would just like, oh, I can't read this and set it down. So I made it practical, but relatable. And then stories, kind of my stories in there and my daughter's, and then client stories and things that have gone on with them, along with those practical tips and tools for people. And so it's a thorough book, but it's a really readable book. And that's what I wanted, a book somebody would actually pick up and read and get something they could actually use for themselves.
Awesome. So where can we find the book?
So you can go to mindyourgutbook.com, mindyourgutbook.com. And if you order through that, I will personally sign your book and send it to you. Yeah.
Nice.
Or it is on Amazon as well, if somebody wants to just buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, why would you want to buy on Amazon when you can sign it?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And where can we find you? Like, can you tell us more about like how, do you have anything for us? Do you, how can we get in touch with you? If we wanted to work with you, what would that look like?
Right. So I personally, I'm on Facebook with my name, Kelly Haw, which we can put, links of all this below. I have my regular health coaching site, which is manifestnaturalwellness.com. And then I do have a Facebook group, my Stress Busters group, and we can put that link down below too. Yeah, and anybody can order the book. I also offer one complimentary session for people, just a strategy session to see, what are your goals, where are you now, and how can we maybe step you to where you want to go. And then, with that, there's always some insights people get or an aha where they go, oh yeah, I know I need to work on that. Or they might say, I need help and support. So whatever that is for that person.
And that would be all on that website, Manifest Natural Wellness, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they can do that. I'm also happy to give out my email or phone number either or both, whatever you think. We can always put that down below too.
Okay.
And people can contact me that way.
Sounds perfect. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being on today. I enjoyed our conversation and all the practical tools and tips you just gave us. So that way we can go out and live our best lives, while providing for our children, providing for our families, and being the best women we can be in our businesses as well.
Right? Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone, if you are like in that space of what, you're not sleeping really great at night, then I would say reach out to Kelly, talk to her, see what, how she can help support you. So you can get your sleep back under control, so you can be fully rested and fully present the next day with your clients, your children, and your spouse, because that is really important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, till next time, I will see you all later. But thank you so much once again, Kelly, for being on today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay, you take care.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.